We are back with Heat 3 of the 2025 Best Detailing Spray. We've got a cracking hot lineup. We're going to be putting these products through a series of grueling tests and picking 2 winners to go through for our grand final. There can be only 1, or 2 in this case. A warm welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel, guys. Do not forget to subscribe to stay in tune with all of the latest product reviews and comparisons. In no particular order: Chemical Guys, HydroSpeed, Ceramic Quick Detailer. After that, UK wax makers, Mitchell & King QD. Gtechniq, the ceramic coating kind of specialist, quick detailer. Then over from America, the legendary P&S Beadmaker. Then Armour amplifies as an SiO2 or ceramic quick detailer. Then after that, another American brand, Griots Garage Ceramic 3-in-1 Wax. Then after that, Koch Chemie QS Quick Shine, more of a traditional style detailer. And then we've got another ceramic spray. This is the Autoglym Rapid Ceramic Spray. And then the Carbon Collective Speciale Ceramic Quick Detailer. That's our lineup. Let's go into the testing. Next up, guys, value for money or price ranking. So the most expensive product, the Chemical Guys Hydro Ceramic Quick Detailer, £27.95 for 473 mil, which translates roughly to £59 9p per litre. The market average is 24 quid. That's a very expensive product. That's top of market, so it's not scored a lot of points there. Next up, the Griots 3-in-1 ceramic wax, £26.99, a similar price, but you get 651 mil. So that gives it a price per litre of 41.45. So a bit of a jump down, but again, market average 24 quid. Next up, Carbon Collective 1996 for 500 mil, so just under 40 quid cost per litre. Expensive products, all ceramics, ceramic detailers if you like. After that, the Autoglym 1879, based on the Halfords non-discounted retail price for 500 mil, giving £37.79 per litre. At that price, it's still expensive. There are loads of deals on this. Like, even as I typed this, it was a lot cheaper, but I can't do those discounted prices. So at that price, yeah, pretty expensive, I think. Next up, Armour Amplify, another ceramic SiO2 detailer, £16.50 for 473 mil, giving you around £34.88 per litre. Now we sort of take a good chunk and jump down in price. P&S Beadmaker, £12.95, an American-made kind of product, has to be imported over here, £27.37p per litre, market average of around £24. I think that's reasonably priced for what you could argue it describes itself more as a spray sealant. I'd describe it more as a glossing agent, a slick glossing agent, which essentially what overlapping to what could be a quick detailer. Next up, in third place on the podium, Mitchell & King, £12.49 for 500 mil, £24.98, still above the market average, and this is in the podium. So this product isn't cheap, £12.49 for a detailer, but within this test, it's come third. So we have a lot of expensive products in this test compared to some of the other tests. In second place, £10, the Gtechniq for 500 mil, so £20 per litre. That represents a really good market average price that I'm comfortable with, £10, for a bottle of detail spray, 500 mil. But it's good enough that it's actually second place in value, so maybe I'm a bit old-fashioned. But the king of value, costing £10.95 per litre, and that's its minimum size offering. So they don't do the 500 mil in this kind of professional line that they do. So that translated price per litre is still £10.95. And that's almost half, whatever it is, compared to the next one up in the test. So the so the Koch Chemie is the one that you'd go for if you're interested in value for money, really. It's considerably cheaper than everything else in this test. At roughly £10.95 per litre, all the way down to near on £60 per litre. So it's like nearly 6 times cheaper or something, whatever you do the maths, £10.95 versus £59 something. So there you go, guys, and we'll rank that up from worst to best and point up accordingly, and it'll all be added up at the end. Okay guys, so our slickness testing, going through from the most slick to the least slick, so it ties in time-wise with our footage. I haven't got to snap from the back and drag to the front. The Autoglym Rapid Ceramic Splay is the most slick product and slides down at the lowest angle. Closely followed by the Griots, but definitely has an edge there in that low friction thing. The Griots 3-in-1 ceramic wax, so both ceramic products there. After that, the Gtechniq Quick Detailer, nice and slick, and the Beadmaker, quite similar, these two, but that one just edges it, I think. So Gtechniq, P&S Beadmaker, then Chemical Guys, HydroSpeed and Armour, again these two quite close. Then the Michelin King Quick Detailer, and then these two very close. Had to do lots of testing, loads of testing, and I think the Carbon Collective consistently slides down more than the Koch. The Koch is the only one that I can feel under the buff, is the least slickness. The rest of them I wouldn't really be able to tell the difference of, although now I've seen this, it kind of influences me, and I think I can feel a slight slickness for these two, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I wouldn't really struggle to tell the difference. But that one I can just feel is slightly more grippy. But it's still slick, which is yeah. So there you go. That's the slickness testing. So next up, gloss ratings. How do we do this? We take our test panel, we prep it, we degrease it, we take 3 gloss and haze readings prior to application, apply the products, let it cure for 24 hours, take 3 readings, and those are the averages. So pre-gloss, pre-haze, post-gloss, post-haze, and we take the deltas of the increments, and the one with the highest number wins. Remember, you need to decrease the haze and increase the gloss, so a decrease in haze is counted as an increment. So in last place is the Koch Chemie QS Quick Shine, and we can see there an overall increment of gloss of 1.2 and but an increment of haze, so that's it, added some haze, so an overall score of 0.7 improvement in our appearance data. Next place, Beadmaker, and I'll just show you plus increment of gloss and a reduction in haze, so an overall improvement of 1.5 units. Then Armour AMPLIFY, good increment in gloss, but an increment in haze as well, so an overall improvement of 1.7. Then Griots Ceramic 3-in-1 wax, good increment in gloss, slight increment in haze, 1.9. Then Chemical Guys HydroSpeed Ceramic Quick Detailer, which we see here. Really good stonking chunky increment of gloss, and it looks nice on the panel, but an increment of haze, so an overall delta of 2 units. Then the Chemical Guys, then the Gtechniq Quick Detailer, with again a good stonking increment of gloss, slight increment of haze. 2.4 overall, nearly on the podium. Now on the podium in 3rd place, Autoglym test all this stuff like to hell and back and do all this stuff. Their products, the appearance data seems to be good on their products. In 3rd place, this has got a nice darkening effect on the panel as well. Autoglym Rapid Ceramic +3 gloss, but again a slight addition of haze, so +2.5. Then Michelin King in 2nd place with an increment of gloss and a slight increment of haze, so an overall delta of 2.7. But then the product with the best appearance data is the Carbon Collective Speciale. Again, a nice dark strip on that panel with it. +3.3, highest increment in gloss and a good reduction in haze with an overall delta of +4.4. So that was the best performance there. And if we just, I'll leave that up so you can see those deltas. And if I come back here on the panel, oh, I can't see what you're seeing, but hopefully, yeah, there you've probably got enough to be able to see it. My apologies if there's any mistakes in all of that, because it's possible. But there's all the data for you, so let me know if that's all correct. There's our gloss product, so 3rd, 2nd, 3rd. If you're looking for the glossiest product in this test, then it was the Carbon Collective. Also, I just want to mention about the darkening effect on the panel. The Carbon Collective, you can see that kind of strip, can't you? The most noticeable darkening effect. And the Koch, less so. It's hard to see where the product is. It's not coming up on camera too well. Decent darkening effect there. A nice darkening effect on the Autoglym and the chemical guys. But definitely that strip there is a lot more noticeable and a lot more kind of jet black. And you can probably just about see that on camera, can't you, there? Next up, hydrophobicity in beading, guys. This might be a quality you don't want from a detail spray, so feel free to omit this test or reverse it if you want cheaters. But the water repellency on this particular product is very low, very neutral. It doesn't seem to add much hydrophobicity. After that, the chemical guy's HydroSpeed ceramic quick detailer, it does describe it as rapid water beading. I wouldn't really accredit it with that claim from what I've seen. It's not particularly prolific in its hydrophobic performance on the test panel. After that, the Michelin King and the Gtechniq, quite close. They had a little bit, so that if you did have some underlying protection, they perhaps would give a good booster, but standalone quick detailers, they're not that beady, the Michelin King and the Gtechniq. After that, you've got a little bit more going on. You can notice them peeling the water off, but still, Beadmaker, you know, I don't think it lives up to its name as a bead maker. It adds a certain level of hydrophobicity, but again, I wouldn't describe it as highly hydrophobic. And we made that comment, you know, 4 or 5 years ago when this product came out, that perhaps, you know, the hydrophobicity isn't there. I don't think these products claim it, to be fair. So if they try and claim that hydrophobicity, then I'll pull up on it. Again, the Griots, it's 4th in the hydrophobicity, so creates superior hydrophobic water beading. No, in my opinion, it doesn't. Again, it's up there. It's like about a 6 out of 10 for me, but it's come 4th in this field because they're a lot less hydrophobic. It's not that prolific at water repellency on its own. Then the Autoglym in 3rd place. Again, I would sort of describe this as a 6.5 out of 10 on its hydrophobicity, but it's come 3rd. We've commented on this as well, not being massively hydrophobic, but it is reasonably durable from what I remember, although we'll be testing that next. So 3rd place for something that's above average with hydrophobicity. And a tiny little step up, it's just a little bit more rapid than the Autoglym, is the Armour AMPLIFY. Again, I'm sounding like I'm repeating myself, but it's not especially hydrophobic. It's just probably at that level where it's acceptable, and it will work very well as a booster to hydrophobicity, but on its own, no. And even the Carbon Collective Speciale, this is the most hydrophobic product in this test from what I can see, but I would perhaps only rate this as a 7 out of 10. And from other testing, there are detail sprays and ceramic detailers that are rapidly beady, even more so than this. But this has picked up 10 marks in this test, but if it was in a different lineup, it may well just become sort of like on the podium or 4th or something, you know what I mean? So yeah, the overall takeaway from this is that all of these products, there are no monsters in beading in this lineup, just one that standalone has a good level. I think that's a solid 7. Too decent. The rest of them really in ascending order there, nothing to write home about, in my opinion. So that is the hydrophobicity testing. Next up, durability testing, guys. This here is the panel after 1 wash pass with a relatively mild pH neutral contact shampoo. You can see the Koch and the chemical guys look like they're not really offering any protection after that first wash. To be fair, they have less hydrophobicity to demonstrate, but the chemical guys has degraded the most, closely followed by the Koch. And now we jump forward to the test panel after 20 washes, and I'm just going to list with text my ranking of durability based on the degradation of the hydrophobic performance, which does have some limitations, but it's also probably reasonably accurate. So next up, user experience or product experience. How can I use this product? How versatile it is? What do I feel about the actual quality of the kind of bottle labelling and trigger spray, and how the chemical is to actually kind of apply it onto the car, all that sort of stuff. The only one in this test that I feel is below average is the Michelin King QD. I think the packaging is less desirable. The trigger doesn't sheath onto the bottle. The labelling is kind of lacking a preamble to describe what this product's for, where you can use it and how you can use it. So I have to assume, because it says there's no preamble or text on where it can go, that it can only be used on paintwork. So no to glass, no to plastics, no to interior. Doesn't tell me if I can use it wet or dry. So I'm a little bit confused about what I can use this product on, going by their label. I think it can benefit from a new bottle, a much more premium trigger and better labelling. The chemical layout itself is good. There are no problems with applying this product. It's unlikely any of them are going to have to. It isn't the slickest product to apply in this test, and that's kind of backed up a little bit by the slickness test. So this was the only one I think that could benefit from some improvements to make it a better overall user experience. So I gave that a below average 4 out of 10. Next up, the Carbon Collective, a better user experience, overall 6 out of 10, a better bottle, a better trigger, better kind of preamble if you like, but still lacking information on what I can use this on and kind of surface suitability. So I don't think I can use this on glass, but I have to guess plastics. It doesn't tell me if I can use this on a wet car. It just tells me to go straight on and apply this onto panels. You know, a lot of the bigger brands will make sure they instruct you to clean the car first, so you're not spraying this onto a dirty, dusty panel or contaminated panel, etc. There are some good things though. It does give you a durability claim. The gearing up of this is more described like a spray sealant. It's got all its health and safety stuff there, and it's actually an easy chemical to work with. So I think this is above average with a 6 out of 10, but still some areas to improve. Next up, the Koch Chemie, an overall better user experience. Still the same criticism as the Mitchell & King, because the trigger is the same. This is not the best high quality trigger on the market, and I think other brands are opting for higher quality triggers. But the instructions are very professional. There is a good preamble with this, and it lets me know that I can use it on glass, plastics, interior, but it forgets to tell me if I can use it as a drying aid, which is very important for detail sprays, and brands shouldn't miss out on that. So overall good. It's not the slickest detailer spray, which is something you notice when you apply. I'm not factoring in all the durability and hydrophobicity, but when you lay it out, it's not all lovely and slick. And that was confirmed in the slickness testing as well. Next up, a 7 out of 10 with really top branding on this product. Good bullet points, good preamble, some real positives. The overall actual product you get is very good. The label has all the international language support, which is good. But on the bottle, you can't determine if you can use this on glass. I think it contradicts their website. So I had to give it a no on glass, a yes on plastics. It also doesn't mention using this as a drying aid. These TS5 triggers are really good at atomizing. And overall, it's a pretty good experience again, but I want to be able to kind of use these wet, because that's a very important quick detailer function. I think it needs to be on that label. Next up, also with a 7 out of 10, the P&S Beadmaker. The label is quite heavily creased, which I notice and comment on. The triggers are good standard, these TS5 triggers. The preamble's good, the directions is good, the versatility of the product is all good. So this might have been knocking on the door for an 8 out of 10. I can use it on glass, plastics, and I can use it wet. The only problem I notice with this is the application of it can be a little bit problematic or a little bit unpredictable. And it is a case of once you've done that first application and then you're using it week on after that, the product is fine. But that first application, until it slickens off, it can be a little bit difficult on that first wipe down. You can find yourself chasing the product a little bit, but Yeah, which is perhaps because it falls more into the category of that spray sealant or protective product according to the blurb. The chemical in this is perhaps more suited as a dressing, a paintwork dressing, than a quick detailer. That's the only thing that stopped it getting an 8 out of 10 on the score podium. Next up, we have the Autoglym. I gave this a 7 out of 10 as well. Very good label, but unfortunately the versatility of this, so you can't use it on glass, you can't use it on plastics, you can't use it on interiors. You can use it wet though as a drying aid, which is a really good popular detailer function. I just think the ergonomics of the bottle hinder you slightly, and you have to be a little bit more careful when you're applying the Autoglym Rapid Spray. Again, some of you will argue, quite rightly so, that it's more of a ceramic detail or even a ceramic sealant. So those traditional quick detailer functions are less applicable to it, but you can still use it as a drying aid. So there's my sort of like lower order ones, if you like, and the reasoning. And then these three products, I've given a user experience out of 8 out of 10. So if we look at the chemical guys first, overall nice packaging as always with the chemical guys, slight crease there. Trigger is okay, even though it doesn't feel like it's drawing that well. Brilliant preamble on what you do with these products and why it's good. A reasonably versatile product that I can use on glass and I can use on plastics. They did slip up about not using it wet on the label though, which has cost it, or else this could have perhaps been the best overall experience. It has an alcohol solvent scent. It's the only one that has a slightly chemical smell as opposed to a pleasant smell, and a bit of choking on the label, but otherwise a pretty good effort at a good user experience. Next up, guys, the Griots 3-in-1. A really good quality bottle with good ergonomics. Probably the only bottle that a professional detailer would not be frustrated with, because they go in the hand well. Big long triggers, you get all your fingers over them. Really nice quality. I think it's an Opus compression trigger. Good label with good preamble. Good instructions. I can't use it on glass, which is okay. Sometimes it's nice to be able to do that with a quick detailer as a shortcut and silken up your glass and smooth out any wiper judder. When they do that, it's a bonus. But I can use it on plastics and I can use it as a drying aid. The only other thing is, I've never found this difficult to apply, but because it's perhaps one of the more spray sealanty type ones, you just don't want to hurl it around. But I still think that this product is very easy to use for something which does go beyond your kind of normal detailer in terms of its protective qualities. The overall user experience, 8 out of 10 as well, for slightly different reasons. Then we move on to the Armour AMPLIFY. There are some things that I can criticise about this, and it's always with this brand, the tiny text. It's just so small, it's noticeably difficult to read it. You really have to squint. Slightly blander branding that I think could be jazzed up a little bit and make a stronger logo, but not really that important. But they're giving you really high quality trigger sprayers and a really kind of stiff, well-made bottle, no creases in the label. But the actual product description, I think, is fantastic. It's a smooth, easy chemical to lay out. It's versatile. I can use it on glass. I can use it on plastics. I can use it as a drying aid. And they even give me separate instructions for wet and dry, which is really, really good. So I just thought that this was perhaps the closest overall user experience that was perhaps the highest in this test right now. But it was a tie in third place. And funny enough, it tends to be the American brands that give you a better user experience, I think, from what I've seen doing this as well. They just describe their products, they think about how their customers want to use it, and they tend to give you a slightly better user experience. So there's the markings there. Okay guys, in descending order with the least points through to the ones with the most points. Something has to come last, but it's a good lineup full of premium products. Koch Chemie QS, 26 points. Great value, but it fell over in virtually all of our performance testing. Durability, hydrophobicity, it isn't slick even to lay out, and gloss testing all went badly. To describe this product, it's the best value. It's an old school type detailer that you can use to spray on, tidy up your panels, but it doesn't offer any of the kind of benefits of more modern protective quick detailers, in my opinion. Chemical Guys, again, the Hydro range, as whenever we looked at the Hydro range in the Chemical Guys lineup, it's been disappointing. I prefer all their old speed products. I prefer like Speed Wipe and Hybrid V7 from what I can remember. This product is very, very expensive, the most in the test, and it hasn't given us the performance rating that perhaps some of the labels would have us believe. It's been in a lower order on durability and hydrophobicity, slightly above average on slickness and gloss, but not good enough to get it off of that bottom of the tables. Next up, the Mitchell & King with a decent showing of 33 points. That's reasonably respectable. A good chemical and a good traditional glossing quick detailer that comes second in gloss. But then it's been outgunned in most other performance areas that you may well expect. It'd be nice if it was a bit slicker, but also not the product experience that we want, and not a good description of what you can actually do and use this product for. Next up is P&S Beadmaker 36. Very interesting product. It's a bit of a one-trick pony with around the feel and the slickness once this product's set and you've got your initial application done. But its protective qualities that it makes quite a big deal out of are less noticeable in comparison to more modern products. It's an interesting chemical. It's very slick. It does gloss up nice, but it's not really a detailer, and it's not really good enough to be a spray sealant. And it's ended up there, but I like it. You know, I like it. These are all decent scores. Now we're getting into products which I think have got a strong case for being viable, I think, within this test. That's the Armour AMPLIFY. It's a little bit expensive within this test. It has great hydrophobicity, so it's a nice detailer that will bead up your paintwork. It's very well described, very well presented, very premium kind of triggers and stuff like that. It's just outgunned in the arm wrestle with some of the other performance products that could perhaps just outgun it a little bit. So it's fallen somewhere in the mid-order of this test, but still quite a strong score. Next up, Gtechniq. This is a traditional detailer spray that will boost a little bit of hydrophobicity and protective qualities, perhaps as you'd expect as a bare kind of standard for a quick detailer that you want to do that. But it is still more of an old-fashioned kind of detailer. It's a shame that they don't tell you that you can use it wet, but most of the performance testing was pretty good, and it's a very desirable product, and it's just off of the podium, so it's done okay. Next up, with Joint 41, we're getting into products that you can spray on your car and do the detail function, quick detailer function, but also offer you some of that ceramic level kind of performance. The Carbon Collective is one of the better all-round products in this test. It is expensive. In fact, most of these up on the podium are, and they're things that can be improved upon it, but it's picked up 41 points mainly because of its hydrophobic and durability testing. Its Achilles heel was it wasn't slick in the slickness test, so it might falter later on down the line. The Griots 3-in-1 ceramic wax is a really nice presented product. Its price in the UK is a little bit of a problem. It's not so available through multiple distributors like some of the other products. This chemical though, even though it isn't the most hydrophobic, once it's on the car, it really lasts a long time. It might not demonstrate that beading as well as some other products, but I believe this is really durable, and that's one of its kind of claim to fame for me. Picking up the most marks is the Autoglym product. Again, it's prohibitively expensive in comparison to some other products in here. I think it was third most expensive, but it picked up full marks on the slickness test. It was on the podium for the gloss test with an 8 out of 10, so you got 9 and 10 out of 10. It was on the podium with the durability, even though there were other products that lasted longer. It was another 8 out of 10. and it did well in the gloss testing, another 8 out of 10, I believe. So there's 3 podiums and 1 first place in the performance testing. So it's higher price, and it's user experience and instructions and all that are generally good. Didn't falter it, but I potentially feel that these two are perhaps better all-round products, but we go with the scoring on this. So there is our overall kind of points and stuff like that, guys. I've got a bit of a dilemma now about which ones are going to go through to the final, but for the time being, I'll put all 3 of these products into the cupboard for the final thing. But yeah, I'll end this video now. Do not forget to subscribe to the Forensics Detailing channel, and I'm going to fire up the camera and then do my informal analysis. It's interesting. It's interesting. We're seeing the 2 big brands, and this theme has been running through this. The bigger brands tend to pick up more points, but not always though. But so yeah, what do you think about this, guys? It's very important to say that, you know, if you did it, you know, person X did it, they might have a different order. They will have a different order, and person Y did it. This is just, we crunch the numbers and it comes out. And any particular testing you're not interested in, you just remove the points for that testing and recalibrate on your own. So that's why we go through it all, so that you can pick the ones that give you what you want. And there's something here for everybody.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I?